Morning everyone and welcome back to the vlog. I'm at the Craiglachy Nature Reserve. I think I said that correctly, but if you say it fast enough then hopefully nobody hears. But I was here a while back where I did the review on the Nikon Z8 and comparing it to the D850. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link in the description below. Please take a look after this video. But I was here at a different time of the year and I've come back where everything's incredibly green and I'm looking forward to seeing the area in this different time of the year. And one of the things I wanted to talk about in this episode was tripods. Do we need tripods for landscape photography? Are they necessary? Will they improve your photography? Let's talk about it and find some nice images. So I've come up into these silver birches and there's these small patches of actual ferns that are scattered around. Unfortunately, the weather forecast promised some sunshine and cloud today. I mean, it's only sort of 6 o'clock in the morning, so there's still plenty of time, but there's definitely not the light here at the moment. And I've come up into these silver birches because there's some beautiful small birches that are just sort of intertwined in amongst some of these ferns and bracken, and I'm just looking for an image. The tops of the trees are really nice with some of the sort of lichen coming off some of the branches, but I just like the kind of the layout of these trees. They're nicely separated, but I don't have the light, and if I position myself just around about here, I get a nice sort of splash of colour from the ferns behind that are catching the light, but the actual silver birches themselves just look a little bit too much in shadow. So I'm gonna sort of wander around in this area and just see if I can find something that maybe come back a little bit later, perhaps when the light's a little bit more in this area. So a few months ago, SUNWAYFOTO very kindly sent me the latest carbon fibre tripod to try out, to use, hopefully to partner with them. And I've been using their geared head for quite a few years and really enjoyed using it, and found it was a really good bit of equipment. And I'm really fortunate from the vlog side of things that I do get companies that send me gear and equipment, but it doesn't always make it into the episodes. And that might be because the equipment isn't up to the standard that I would want to put across and show in the vlog. And sometimes it's just because it's equipment that I don't use. So I thought, firstly, there's a good opportunity to come out, take some photos, use the new carbon fibre tripod. I've been using it for a few months, but also I don't want to make the vlog about a review. I want to talk about whether it's necessary to take a tripod with you. Is it necessary to carry it all the way? Does it improve the photography, or is it just extra gear to be taking with you? So let's go find some images. That's what we're here for, and let's go try out the tripod. I've come down to this wee lochen, which is in just sort of central to the nature reserve here. And there's a nice little breeze coming through. I was hoping there wouldn't be any wind and there'd be some nice reflections, but actually because of the grasses, we're getting this real beautiful rippling of the wind coming across the water, and the trees with their new sort of spring leaves are really just sort of shimmering in the soft light there, and it's a beautiful scene. Oh, there's a duck's just flown and it's just about to shoot past. There's always a duck that comes to see you, hoping for a bit of food, I guess. But anyway, I've put on the 70 to 200mm lens, and I've sort of zoomed into some of the silver birches on the other side there. And what I'm hoping to do is actually perhaps capture some of the movement in the trees and the leaves, not sort of too quick a shutter speed, something that just captures that little bit of movement. And anyway, I'll show you what I'm looking at on the back of the camera. So you can see on the back of the camera that I've composed the image so that we've got this kind of sweep of the bank that comes from the bottom left, curves round and goes off to the right hand side of my image. And you can see these grasses just in the water there that are just as the wind comes across, you can just see them moving and the light capturing them. And it really does give the scene a real sort of soft, gentle feel to it, sort of almost painterly. And then we've got these silver birches behind. I've put on the polarizer. If I just turn it, you'll see that it just brings out some of those green tones in the trees and knocks back some of the reflections. And that's not the best light today, but for capturing some really sort of soft, delicate images, then yeah, it's not bad. So as I say, I'm shooting on my 70 to 200mm lens. I'm zoomed in at around about 105mm, and I'm just going to take a few shots, and well, if it's any good, here's the first image. So, do I think that landscape photographers should have tripods? No, I think it's your choice. It doesn't matter. It's how you prefer to take images. And do I think it improves my photographs? Not really. I don't think it makes a lot of difference. And especially with modern cameras now that have inbuilt image stabilization, you know, it's not so difficult now to get nice, sharp images. So why do I use a tripod? So why do I shoot with a tripod? Well, there's a couple of main reasons. Firstly, I find that it slows down my process. It really stops and makes me think about what I'm photographing rather than sort of shooting on the spur of the moment. I'm actually really slowing down, and it means that I'm adjusting my composition, I'm fine tuning, I'm waiting for the light just to be right. And just for me personally, I prefer that method of photographing. So the second reason is that I'm still photographing on the Nikon D850. I'm not at the moment, I'm on the Z7, but and the D850 doesn't have inbuilt image stabilization, and I am absolutely lousy at hand holding shots. I mean, I'd be an absolute helpless wildlife photographer, because by the time I've adjusted the camera, found what I'm photographing, and actually got the photograph, whatever I'm photographing is well gone home and had dinner, and it's gone, the moment is lost. And there have been a couple of times where I've just been really fortunate, and I've been out in the forest somewhere photographing the trees, and a stag has suddenly appeared and my camera's on the tripod, and but those are just sort of far and few between. So I find, for me, I get a nice clean sharp image, and it slows down the process, and that's just a personal preference. So I'm putting on a neutral density filter because I really like the way that the wind is captured in the trees, and I really want to capture that movement. And I think a longer shutter speed is really going to give that soft painterly look as the leaves are moving in the wind. Obviously the trees and the main trees are not moving anywhere, and so they'll be nice and sharp, but those leaves will be soft, capturing a little bit of movement across the water too. So this is a 6-stop neutral density filter with polarizer, and that's really going to give me a longer shutter speed. We'll set this up and then take a look at the camera and see what we're looking at. So the neutral density filters give me an exposure time around about 1.5 seconds, which I think is just going to be enough just to capture that movement in the leaves. I'm on ISO 320. If I go down any more than that, then I'm getting sort of an exposure time of about 3 seconds, which I think will be too long. But that light is just coming in from behind me now and capturing the trees on the bank on the other side. Let me show you on the back of the camera. So you can see on the back of the camera, it's not a great composition, but what I really like about it is the silver birches just sort of scattered about, and the green is incredible. And you can see that light just suddenly hits the back there. But what I am really trying to capture is the movement in those leaves, and as I said, with a 1.5 second exposure time, I think we're going to get a real nice soft painterly feel. It's going to soften out some of the sort of movement in the water too. We're going to have movement in the grass, and if it's too windy, then there's going to perhaps be a little bit too much movement. So we'll just wait, and just until we've got that little gentle bit of breeze. Like now, we can just see those leaves in the trees blowing around and moving with a bit of light. And that should give us a really nice, soft, painterly feel to the image. And well, here's the image. It's a beautiful day here in the reserve. That sun's nice and warm when it's actually out, and there's just enough cloud cover just to sort of soften things a little bit, but it's just too windy for some of those more intricate scenes, capturing some of the grasses. The larger sort of scene with the moving leaves and everything's really nice, as we photographed earlier on, capturing some of that movement. But what a beautiful day. It's not as warm as it has been this week, but yeah, stunning. So what is it that I like about this SUNWAYFOTO tripod? This is the T3650CM. Well, first of all, it's a sturdy beast, and I really like that. When I'm out in the elements, I like something that I can put my camera on and it feels like it isn't going anywhere, whether it's in the water because I'm in a waterfall or whether it's a windy day. This is a real sturdy beast. The top tripod legs are around about 36mm width, and with the locking legs, it's a real good, snug, tight fit. So it really does stand its ground, even when all 5 sections are opened up. The actual top plate is removable with a quick release button up the top here, which means that you can easily switch tripod heads if you want to, without having the faff of having to get an Allen key, undo it, which is a real sort of neat feature. And also the weight. I've had a couple of tripods that have been carbon fibre that have been this sort of size, and they've been quite heavy, but this isn't bad considering the size of it. It's actually not too bad to carry around. So yeah, all in all, pretty pleased with it so far. Now, another thing that I really like about this tripod is there's no center column. And it kind of, for me, it kind of defies the point that you get a 3-legged sturdy tripod, but then raise it up on the center column. Obviously, you don't get the same stability that you do from the tripod. So the trick is to get a tripod that's got a good amount of height so that you don't actually need to use a center column. And this does. When all 5 legs are extended, this is a tall tripod. And it also means that you can get really low to the ground. If you open up the legs, there's no center column to stop you dropping really low. So this is the 5-section leg tripod. And what I like about this is obviously the tripod itself collapses down really small. And usually when you go for a tripod that's got more sections to it, they're usually not quite so sturdy because you've got more joints, but actually this tripod isn't going anywhere. So if you'd like 5% discount off these SUNWAYFOTO tripods or any of their gear, then check my affiliate links below. And if you use the code ANDYLOCK in their checkout, you get 5% discount. So I've come across another group of these ferns here on the hillside, and from a distance I really liked the way that the light was capturing some of them, and as they were just moving it just gave us almost a carpet of light washing over them with the textures of the ferns themselves. So I'm wondering if maybe I put on the 70 to 200mm lens and hone in on some of these with the light and the darker areas and see if I can get a nice abstract shot that is more about the actual ferns themselves, a bit more texture, bit of light. So I'm going to pop the camera on the tripod, put the 70 to 200mm lens on and just move around and see if I can find a nice composition. So I've just been photographing the ferns back there. I don't think I really it wasn't very successful. I think the light's a little bit harsh. One of those days where there's not a lot of cloud cover. But I've just come across this really nice scene. I don't know whether it's a little bit cheesy. You know how sometimes you see a scene and you think, it's a little bit sort of like we've got this rock in between the trees, a little tree coming over, the light hitting it. It almost looks like a nativity play scene of some sort of kind. I don't know whether it's been staged or something, but I'm going to take the shot anyway. It is beautiful. It does sum up the area really nicely. There's lots of rocks that have come down that are scattered about. We've got ferns that are catching the light, and there's small silver birches. So I'm going to take the shot. If it does look too cheesy, I'm not going to show you. We'll forget about it and push it to one side. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'm shooting on the 70 to 200mm lens just to really sort of compress the image a little bit. I do like the ferns when they catch the light there. It really is nice, and the rock just really touches the light, but we'll see. It's a nice image, but I've just got that sneaky feeling that it might be a little bit too picture card perfect. Okay, so I've swapped lenses. I'm on the 24 to 70 now, and I've moved in a little bit closer. There's a tree that's come down here with some roots on it, and if I shoot on the long lens, I was capturing some of that in there as well. So you can see we've got this rock that's just positioned nicely in my background with this small silver birch that sort of shapes around it really nicely. And then we've got the ferns that are catching the light just at the bottom there. And just to my left, we've got these very thin silver birches. One of them's losing its bark a little bit, but it just sort of balances out the image. I think it would make a nice square crop. I'll show you what I'm looking at on the back of the camera. So you can see on the back of the camera, we've got that rocks that's sat right nicely in the background. At the moment, there's way too much light hitting it. But then we've got this light cascading over the sort of hill here just in front, some patches of light coming to the left, really giving it a little bit of contrast and a little bit of depth to the image. And then we've got this small silver birch which just comes up over the rock, giving it a nice frame, and the three silver birches to the left, which are in the dark shade. But I think that really brings the eye into the sort of rock and into the picture. And I like the little ferns that are just scattered about, capturing the light there. So anyway, if it does come out any good, here's the image. So it's been a really lovely day here in the nature reserve. Not successful photographically wise. I think the light's been too bright, and it really does make a difference, the light. We did come out really early this morning, and we arrived not long after 5:30 in the morning, but the light was out pretty quickly. But it's just lovely being out here. It's absolutely stunning. I mean, just the birds have been absolutely incredible. You can probably hear them around. And it's just been a beautiful morning here. So what have we let's sum up, what have we sort of taken away from this? Well, firstly, do we need a tripod for landscape photography? No, we don't. It's just not necessary. Some people prefer to shoot handheld, some people prefer it on a tripod. Will it improve your images? No, probably not. But it does help you slow up the process. It helps you to stop and think about the images that you're taking and take it slowly. I mean, often when I come out, I'm only coming away with sort of a handful of images, even throughout a whole day. But one thing I would say is that if you are going to get a tripod, get a good one, something that's sturdy and something that's going to last, because it never pays to go cheap. You only end up by then having to buy it again. And if you are interested in the SUNWAYFOTO tripod, which I can highly recommend, then don't forget there's affiliate links down the bottom, and you can get 5% discount if you use the code ANDYLOCK at checkout. Once again, thank you so much for watching the vlog. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. it.